To study this, let us know that change is the only thing which is permanent. Rest, everything else is temporary, right? There are a few more things which is permanent in the world. If you are alive and earning, you will have to pay taxes as well. That is something which is universal in phenomena, and that is also permanent. It is hardly a day passes without news of new world economy or the shift from production to service orientation. In fact, service orientation has become one of the business strategies. And if you look at the world today, more than 60 to 70% of the business are in the service sector area, and same is the case with employment. Perhaps little more than 80% people are employed in the service sector if you compare that with the other sectors of the economy. Because of the sweeping effects of change and competition, a great deal of interest has been placed on higher education and lifelong learning. Business is, of course, turning to training in order to cut costs and increase employees' productivity. However, in the rush to train and educate people, many organizations have failed to treat evaluation of such training as a priority area. Now, if you look at the scenario further, we find that this is very, very grim, as evaluation, training is one part, and evaluation is also one of the compulsory parts, which is not being attended to by many organizations. And therefore, what we find that key factors in providing value to training would be that you know through evaluation as to what you have done in terms of effectiveness. Here, evaluation of training has been extensively researched over last few decades. That's what we have known through different kinds of study. There are two approaches that we have come to know. These two approaches of training evaluation are given here. Look at the first approach is called goal-based approach. Now, goal-based approach was initially proposed in 1959 by Kirkpatrick. He revised it in 1995. This was also, adopted by Carnevale and Schulz. Later on, Gordon, Dixon, Jack Phillips, and there are many more in this series. Then the second approach that we have is called the systems-based approach. This is also one of the approach for the evaluation of training that has been forwarded by none other than Worthen and Saunders initially, but very late, that is the late 80s, was the information system became widely prevalent. And therefore, what we find that this approach of Saunders and Worthen is context input output or SIT model that we have. Then we have got TVS model called training validation model of Fizend, which is very, very famous model of Fizend that we have. And then we have got input process output model or IPO, which was proposed by Bushnell. The more popular of the two and easy to do is, of course, the first model, that is the goal-based model that we have adopted in this particular context. A survey was conducted by Knowledge Advisors of Chicago with training managers from almost 100 countries, 100 organizations of 10 different countries worldwide. And they found that 70% of the organizations have no formal measurement practices to assess the impact of training employees on the performance of their business. This is like saying that you have the classes without any assessment or examinations that is there. So you would not know who is where exactly in terms of their learning. So that measurement is always needed everywhere in life. You do measurement on everyday basis, and you do measurement later on as well towards the end of the period or the end of the semester or end of the year, whatever it is. Now, Bussey and Buren, based on a survey of ASTD, that is American Society of Training and Development, reported that 45% of the surveyed organizations only go trainees reaction to courses, that is first level evaluation that we call. Another survey found that 80% of the organization conducted trainee satisfaction survey or evaluation, and 40% evaluated trainees learning, and only about 10% of the organizations, mind it, 10% of the organizations performed the impact study that is there. Now, training evaluation is an important is as important as the training. It is therefore important to note that 60% of all trainees use their learning in a way that contribute to significant business results. 60%, which is very high in terms of percentage. Perhaps the most widely used model for training evaluation is that of Kirkpatrick, which provides for the evaluation of training at 4 levels. These levels are, as per Kirkpatrick, termed as reactions, learning, behavior, and results. Right? Now, in October 2002, several leading organizations in the IT industry in the US developed benchmarks and standards for measuring training impact. That's what we have noticed. By establishing these parameters or performance matrices, the industry expects to continually improve the training performance and impact on customers. This was also done by the ASTD, where 80% of the organizations, as we said, conduct trainee satisfaction, 40% learning, 10% performance evaluation that we have noticed in the last slide. Now, if you look at the Indian scenario is quite grim as far as the studies are concerned, although things have started changing very, very fast. The training evaluation has been ignored by the Indian industries due to perceived difficulties and inability to identify specific outcomes as the results of training. That without proper training and evaluation of training, facing new challenges would become difficult. It is not a reality that training evaluation was completely ignored by the Indian corporates, but most evaluation were carried out using the first, second, and third level evaluation. But fourth level evaluation, as far as India is concerned, has been completely ignored. The first organization in India where HR evaluation was first implemented, that was level 2 and 3 evaluation, was of course, BHEL and SAIL were the organizations where it was being done that we have found. The government of India also felt the need for some kind of an evaluation that should be done, and therefore an organized effort on the part of the government of India has been made to train officers in training evaluation. Training division, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Personnel and Training. That is, they on 11th of July 2005 informed the concerned officers for attending a course on training evaluation. And they said that investment in training can only be justified if it leads to improved performance. Now, they also included Kirkpatrick's model in that framework. Out of these total people who are called, most of them were from the government organization. And what we noticed that it is DRDO training center, which has really followed the principles in total. Rest of the organization, we are yet to have the fourth level of evaluation being done, except DRDO, which is doing it. Kirkpatrick's 4-level evaluation, as we noticed earlier, the first level was called reaction. Now, reaction is it is referred to as the happy sheet, where reaction of trainees is measured with the help of attitude questionnaire. Mind it is attitude questionnaire, attitudinal scale that it is called, at the end of the classes or at the end of the training. In other words, how the trainees react to training course. It is perception of the trainees about the course content, delivery of material, facilities at the training center, facilities at the residence where they are living during the training, the transport facilities that is being provided to them, the entertainment facilities that is provided to them. All those things are being worked here. That is mainstay of this particular level called first level. It is presumed that if the trainees are positive in their opinion, they will acquire the needed knowledge and skill. And if they are not happy, the otherwise will be true in this context, that they have not acquired anything. The reaction may best be considered as how well the trainee liked particular training program. But beyond that, we cannot really gauge anything out of it. Saying that they have learned something, if they are happy, may not be true in the full context. The second level of evaluation we call learning. Did the participant learn anything? The focus in this stage is on knowledge, skill, and attitude of the trainees. Therefore, tests have to be conducted by the evaluators pertaining to training material regarding job competencies. Since an improvement or otherwise is to be gauged, 2 groups have to be identified as control groups and experimental group. And 2 rounds of tests will have to be conducted for comparison purpose, that is pre-training and post-training evaluation. It is important to realize, however, that even though people may learn new skills, it does not necessarily mean they are demonstrating these skills back on the job. Measuring the learning that takes place in a training program is important in order to validate the training objectives. Now, this particular method of evaluation called pre-training and post-training evaluation, and saying that you have to have the 2 groups called control group and experimental group. This is based on the study called Hawthorne experiment that was conducted in Illinois, General Electric plant of Illinois in the US. And this was way back in 1920s that this study was conducted by a professor from the Harvard Institute who really propounded this concept of industrial psychology. Basically, at that point of time, later on, it was renamed as organizational behavior and became part of the management discipline. What we find that in the Hawthorne experiment, they collected people into 2 groups of equal sizes, ensuring that the qualification of these people are more or less similar. Age-wise also, they are more or less similar, plus minus 5 years. They also looked at the experience of these people and they said that they should be more or less similar in terms of their experiences that they have. Right? Now, once they looked at the experience part, it was believed that those people will be reacting in similar manner. Therefore, what they did was that they had two groups. They had two groups there, and these two groups were exposed in a manner. The two groups in the experiment, one was called experimental group and another one was called the control group. Experimental group was taken to the workshop, and the intensity of light was increased initially. And what was noticed that the production increased as the intensity of light was increased. And later on, the intensity of light was decreased, but production did not decrease. When the evaluation was being done, and later on, it was found that the two groups was grouped, and it was found that there was no difference in terms of performance of the two groups while they were working. And it was concluded that it is not the intensity of light which has got any impact, but it is the importance given to the individuals that the productivity increased. And therefore, from this particular point, the human relations approach basically picked up, and that people have to be given importance otherwise if you really want to improve productivity. Taking cue from there, the researchers picked up this experimental group and control group for case study researches that we have really followed in this particular study. The third level we call as the performance level, which is also called the behavior as by Kirkpatrick. Now, what we find is this Kirkpatrick's original 4 level of evaluation, he names this level as behavior, and has trainees been able to translate their learning to actual job performance or not. It is not the behavior, but the consequence of behavior, which the organizations are interested in. And therefore, if the reaction to training is positive, it can be safely assumed that learning has taken place, and hence application of those learning is evaluated. Now, here in case of hard skill, it is necessary to determine the behavioral change, but it will be very, very difficult or almost impossible for the soft skill. And therefore, soft skill becomes problematic, a kind of a job for any organization. And as we said, a large number is there in the service sector organizations where soft skill training is important. The fourth level of evaluation we call as the results. What impact has the training achieved? The final level of evaluation is an approach which looks at organizational results before and after training. It measures the training program's effectiveness. Level 4 evaluation, due to its complex nature, is both costly and time consuming. Therefore, it is being ignored by a large number of organizations. But if it can be managed better, it gives fantastic results. And therefore, level 4 evaluation require the training professional to conduct a comparative analysis of these measures and correlate them to the training material that has been provided to the individuals. Now, for this particular study that I'm trying to bring before you, we tried and look at the difficult part, that is the soft skill training that is being provided. And the organization that we selected for the case study was BSES. We all perhaps are aware about this term, BSES Limited. It was formerly known as Bombay Suburban Electricity Supply Limited, and later renamed as Reliance Energy Limited. It was incorporated in 1929 for the distribution of electricity in the suburbs of Mumbai. Over the years, BSES has grown up to become India's premier utility engaged in generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity. In Mumbai alone, BSES caters to needs of 2.23 million consumers over an area of 384 square kilometer, with the maximum system demand of approximately 12 to 26 MVA, with 7 decades in the field of power distribution. Supply division of BSES has achieved the distribution of operating its distribution network with 99.98% online reliability that they have, right? This is as far as the profile of BSES. BSES among the first utilities in India to adopt computerization in 1967, and they started expanding later on, with which we are concerned here. What we find that in Delhi, there was an organization, erstwhile organization known as DESU, Delhi Electricity Supply Undertaking, DESU, which was earlier, but later on DESU was dissolved and it took the name of BSES, took it over. And there are 2 organizations that operates in Delhi for the generation and distribution of electricity, that is BSES Rajdhani Power Limited, that is called BRPL. It is engaged in the business of distribution and supply of electricity in south and west parts of Delhi, covering a consumer base of 8.69 lakh households spread over 11 districts, that is Nehru Place, RK Puram, Najafgarh, Alaknanda, Mehrauli, Palam, Nagloi, Nizamuddin, Janakpuri, Vikaspuri, and Punjabi Bagh areas. We find that there is another organization called BSES Yamuna Limited. This is known as BYPL. It is engaged in the business distribution of and supply of electricity in central and eastern parts of Delhi, covering a consumer base of 8.49 lakhs spread over 11 districts again. That is Yamuna Vihar, Krishna Nagar, Chandni Chowk, Paharganj, Nand Nagari, Mayur Vihar, Daryaganj, Jhilmil Colony, Lakshmi Nagar, and Shankarpur Road. That is there. This Lakshmi Nagar happens to be near ITO if you pass by towards the court area. Now, BSES has got a call center which attends to the complaint of the individual, which is listed here. The call center is located at ITO near the power station and that stadium which is there. And this call center, BSES call center is basically for both the organization, that is BRPL and Yamuna Limited as well. The call center is headed by call center manager, and there are 2 teams for these. That is, there is a team leader of BRPL and there is a team leader for BYPL that we have. Under them is the call center executive who are working there, right? So BSES has separate and dedicated numbers for both the organizations. Both call centers are located in the same premises that is there. Now, what happened that for the particular study, we started, following the Hawthorne experiment model. An experimental group was selected first, 2 supervisors, and all executives working with 2 supervisors formed the experimental group. In the first stage, 2 supervisors were selected through simple random sampling method, and all 24 executives working with them were included in this study. So mind it, there were 24 executives who were working with them. Similarly, we had a control group. A similar method was followed by random sampling. We selected the executive, the 2 supervisors selected by simple random sampling method, and control group had 26 executives. Earlier it was 24, and this has got 26. So it is more or less equal, as we said. Now this table shows the same thing, that the universe was of 8 supervisors. We took 2 each from them, and there were 106 executives who were attending to the calls, and we took a number 24 and 26, right? Now, training initiative has to be taken. They are keeping in mind the objectives of study. A comprehensive training program was developed to deliver training to experimental group, and this training included training needs analysis, training context development, defining effective measures. We had training delivery, classroom training, training evaluation that followed. So all this initiative was being suggested to the company by us, and when we were to do this study, so that this study is somewhat better. Me and one of my scholar, we engaged in this particular study in the month of June, July, when summer vacations are there in our universities in past. The key result area for call center executives was found to be that a call center is a key customer contact points for BSES, where customers call to register their complaints and log their request with BSES in terms of any difficulty or any facility that they need. And the key deliverables were handle customer calls and register customer complaints and requests, give customer information if available regarding their complaints and requests, if it has been attended to by the executives, and it was also to ensure customer satisfaction that we wanted, right? So keeping in mind the key deliverables at call centers, the major objective of this study is to evaluate if the training of call center executives on effective customer handling skills influence the business critical parameters or not. This is, are the customers satisfied or not with them? Similarly, we have to calculate a correlation between enhancement of skill and critical business parameter, that is the customer satisfaction. The hypothesis for this study was that knowledge of service executives does not affect performance on key business parameters, and the alternate hypothesis H1 is that the knowledge of service executives affect performance on key business performance parameters. The second hypothesis was that there is no relationship between job skill of service executives and their business performance parameters. And the alternate hypothesis was that there is a strong relationship of job skills of service executives and their business performance parameters. Data analysis was done by ourselves following the principle that is given in the book called Siegel and Castrans Jr. That is, the book is entitled Non-Parametric Statistics, where analysis of variance and correlation were calculated as required, and significance was tested at 95%. That is, the error of 0.05 was allowed. The result was present as given as this. When the training was provided, before that we had a pre-training knowledge score that we tried and calculate. we gave them a questionnaire, that is the, a sheet which was to evaluate their knowledge. And what was found that the mean knowledge score for experimental group was found to be 39.04, and control group it was 42.57, and a standard deviation of 18.77 and 17.46, and difference of mean was found to be minus 3.53 in these two groups. Post-training knowledge score, when the training was provided to the experimental group, right? So what we found is that the knowledge score of experimental group, which was very low that we have seen in the last slide, 39.04, this increased to 76.29, and the control group stood at 44.31. The standard deviation of 16.3 and 13.89 was noticed, calculated, and post-training knowledge score difference of mean was found to be 31.98, which was quite substantial. And the experimental group knowledge score, if we compare only one group, that is pre-training and post-training, 39.04 and 76.29 as we noticed, and the difference of mean was 18.77 pre-training, and post-training it was 16.3. The knowledge scored mean difference was found to be 37.29, and t-value was found to be 7.87, which is substantial increase or significant increase in terms of statistics. But experimental group, this is what we have already seen. The control group, which was not provided any training, they stood at 42.57 initially. But when we look at these two groups, experimental and control group, in terms of evaluation score comparison, for the skill, it was 34.52 and 36.67. This, after training, when it was compared, the experimental group and control group, it increased to 63.33 for the group which was provided training, and it stood at 38.57 for the group which was not provided any training, with a mean difference of 24.76. And pre-training and post-training comparison of experimental group, which was provided with training, it increased to 63.33 from 34.52, and the t-value was 11.18, which is a significant difference between the two statistically. Whereas for the control group, the difference was not much. It increased to 38.57 from 36.37. This is perhaps the importance that was attached, and it is 1.56, the t-value, which is not substantial in terms of this particular score. But customer satisfaction, if you look at the pre-training and post-training, were more or less similar, 40.33 and 41.83, with t-value of 0.38. This increased, of course. The customer survey was conducted before administering training to the experimental group, and the result of this survey indicates that there is a marginal difference in the satisfaction level of customers from the two groups of call centers. That is statistically t of 0.38 that we have noticed, whereas the t critical is 2.16 at 95%. This indicates that there is no significant difference. But after training, of course, this increased from 40 to 49.86 with a t-value of 3.5, whereas we said that 2.86 is the critical value. So this was also, the increase was significant, but not substantial, right? Now, consequently, what we concluded was that training does lead to, increase in the knowledge. It does increase the skill level of the individual, and there is also significant increase in terms of statistics in the satisfaction level. But satisfaction level was not seen to be very, very high. So what we did was we returned back later on, because what we noticed was that the study was conducted in the month of June and July, and June and July happens to be critical months for the electrical supply, and therefore what we noticed was that perhaps it is the seasonal problem because of which this problem has been noticed. And therefore, when we repeated the same exercise in the month of October, November, we noticed that the complaint was less, because earlier when we approached the households in southern Delhi, initially we were given a very harsh treatment by the household people, considering that we were, agents of the company. Whereas we gave them our cards, we convinced them that we are just conducting a study for the benefit of the customers. The feedback will be provided to the institution so that they improve their services. But later on, we did not find the same harsh treatment. And the result was that later on, when this study was repeated, the satisfaction level increased to almost a difference of 6. And therefore, what we noticed that seasonal variations, if any, in the study had to be also to be taken into account, and this cannot be taken as an absolute. But what we further noticed that since it was a case study with a small sample, the result could not be considered as something very, very reliable, right? And therefore, we repeated the same kind of a study in Airtel of Delhi. This study was conducted on the same basis, and the result was, that study was on the people who are provided training called FOs, feet on the street, the individuals who contact these shopkeepers to store SIMs that is sold to the customers, and they also tell them about different programs which in turn is passed on to the customers. They provide customer supports. When these executives were trained on same line, their knowledge and skill also improved. And it was also found that the business results were also having an impact. And when the two study was compared, we found that this study did have a value that when it was compared in the neighborhood, it did have an impact. So we concluded that the evaluation study that we conducted initially at BSES was valid, and same was the case with the other study that is there. And if training is provided properly, it does lead to customer satisfaction or increase in the sales volume and profitability of the organization. Therefore, these two organizations are following the principle of evaluation methods that we suggested them in the initially, and that is already there in these organizations that we have. Now, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me, please.
Sir, what is the significance of t-value, sir? I could not get that.
See, it's a statistical test that we conducted. And this is basically when you study further the statistics, you would know that this tells you as to the difference is statistically significant or not. Now, statistically significant and apparently significant is where the when large number of people are being compared. Right? Some would be satisfied, some would not be that satisfied. But statistically, what we are calculating is that is the difference between the two results higher or not. And comparison is always with the critical value that is being calculated statistically, the slope that we calculate. Right?
Okay, sir.
So you told us about goal-based and system-based approach. So, sir, what is system-based approach?
Hello.
So you told us about
systems-based.
Yes, sir.
I told you about the goal-based approach in detail. We said that there are two approaches of evaluation known in the world. One is called goal-based approach, and another one is called systems-based approach. Systems-based approach basically looks at every element of the system it is going to be evaluated by the organizations, and mostly these measurements are being done in a computerized setting rather than in the manual setting after providing training that is there. So there all results are being computed based on this thing that if system is being followed properly, if the standards are being given a right kind of thing, it will be achieving the results. I'll give you an example of this particular thing. Have you heard of ISO 9001 2018? ISO 9001 2000, have you heard of?
No, sir.
Now, ISO is basically an international standard for measuring quality, right? And ISO 9001 2000, which is now known as ISO 9001 2018, after revision, is basically we are looking at the quality of HR on certain parameters. That is, whatever they are doing has to be demonstrable. Whatever they are doing has to be documented, right? So that it can be referred to by other people, that can easily be related. And all principles of the job has to be documented and followed in principle to maintain the quality, and their organization which follows this are being given ISO 9001 2018 today in India. And this tells us that whatever training is being provided to the individual, that is, they are translating into the results. And that is being done on the systems-based approach rather than the goal-based approach of maintenance of quality that is being followed in India. The other methods of quality we know are Kaizen or Six Sigma and other systems. That is also based on the training of these individuals, that minimum error is allowed. Or in Kaizen, you do small things in a better manner, and if that results into a better kind of result for the organizations. All those are part of this evaluation process that we are following, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
as you study further, you will learn more on this. Anything else? Any other question?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, ISO certification is only for the quality of HR or
No,
other?
it is for the products as well. Mainly it was for the product initially. HR came into being much later. Now even the HR organizations are given this certificate. This, as we said, ISO 9001, 2001 or 2000 or 2018, that is given for HR. For other products, the ISO 9001 number is different. That is, ISO 9001 2001 is given for products, which is 2019 today.
So what
Yeah.
is the significance of these numbers after ISO?
Well, ISO 9000 is basically given by the organization, this ISO, and the second one indicates the year when it was implemented. Initially, it was for the HR, it was 2001 when for the first time it was implemented, and now it is revised in 2018. Certain standard has been changed. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. Thank you. Thank you for today. We are meeting tomorrow to look at other topics, please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.